Hi, it's Jeff.
And Denise from Mousesteps.com.
And this is episode number 146.
146.
Of Mousesteps Weekly.
Sponsored by Theme Park Connection in Orlando, Florida.
It's too late for Mother's Day, but not for Father's Day.
I know, it's just around the corner, and that will be almost half a year already gone by, and I can't believe it.
Unbelievable. And it won't get any better with the schedule coming up either.
No. And PixieVacations.com, you can think about Christmas and
Halloween.
It's time to start thinking about that. So book with them for the best deals at Disney.
And also, we're going to announce the winner of last week's contest.
Allison Piemons, Piemmons.
Congratulations.
And we are going to have...
Oh, how should our winner contact us?
Yes, Denise at Mousesteps.com. I almost forgot about that part. Just send me an email and we'll get you taken care of.
And this week's contest is, what is your favorite all-time attraction if you've ever been to Universal Studios? Anywhere, Hollywood, here in Florida, Japan, whatever. And you're still going to get a Mickey Mouse bag, though.
Yes.
You still get a Mickey bag.
And it might not be this exact style, but the last winner actually did get that style. And but anyway, just let us know. And that would be on Facebook. Post that on our Facebook page.
And also, Maple Leaf Tickets, our official ticket agency. Check them out. We're going to start off the show here at Epcot.
I know, and the Epcot Flower and Garden Festival is
sadly winding down.
Ending this Sunday, which I am very disappointed about.
But we're sort of finishing it on a high note. We went this weekend and did one of the planting seminars, and this week it was a frozen flower arrangement, which I've never done anything like that. It was really fun.
Right, it was frozen themed, and just in that, the coloring of the flowers and the type of flowers and the little snowflake.
The Elsa Blue. I just named that Elsa Blue.
Well, they actually dyed those orchids blue.
Interesting.
And we really enjoyed these projects. We don't have time to do them every week. They have several days a week on the weekends.
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Two of these a day on those days.
11 a.m. and 2 p.m. And there's a project, a takeaway, and we really enjoy it. We usually get there at least an hour early because there are so many guests who do want to partake in this activity. Last year they did it every single day because they were sponsored.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
True story, every plant that we have in our house here is from these seminars going back 5-6 years.
Right, and outside also we have some plants.
Some plants almost taller than us now. It's amazing.
I think there is a couple that are taller than you.
And it was nice because we met a couple other couples that we know, some longtime friends. So it was a really good time. Highly recommend it. And there we are with our frozen themed flowers.
It was nice to get flowers without having to hint that I want them.
And here's our whole group. We were able to go up on stage and take a picture. Again, always a great time at Epcot. My parents were in town, and there they are. Brought them to Epcot for the day as well. They had a wonderful time. So, hi, Mom and Dad. Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.
And you took some beautiful night pictures also that night?
I only had, maybe a half hour to take photos, but it was nice because I got a few pretty good ones in, I think.
You did a great job, actually.
Thank you very much.
So now we're going to talk about something that has been around forever and that we haven't done. Now, both of us have been going to Walt Disney World since the 70s, but we have not been on this carousel. This is very historic carousel here. Well,
the carousel itself isn't totally historic. I mean, it came around in 1999.
Mm-hmm.
I started making note of it when the McDonald's closed because all of a sudden I'm noticing things like the clock tower that are closing, but there's still artwork on here.
Right, and the main thing that drew us to it is we love this old vintage artwork of the old time, things that don't exist anymore, like the boat launch there and this kid's playground, all that stuff. That is no longer there, so it's really interesting to look at these paintings. And there's the carousel itself.
Right, the carousel is here, and the carousel is supposed to look like it's an older classic carousel, but it is from 1999. And we decided to ride it because adults can ride just as kids can ride.
And it's interesting, you actually have to get these coins here. You put in your credit card or change, I guess, and you get one of these little coins. You put
dollar
it in
bills, no change.
It's dollar bills?
Uh-huh.
Okay. So now we're going to take a walk around and look at the horses and some of the decor when you look up, when you're actually in the carousel area itself. More vintage paintings of the old downtown Disney.
And I even found a hidden Mickey while I was going through the pictures. I don't know if we'll see it here. It's in they have roses, and I thought that was very nice. Oh, You can see the hidden Mickeys. There's actually more than one.
Yeah,
It's kind of
nice.
below there with the roses. But this is just a gorgeous carousel. And I mean, I really recommend visiting. And I think it sounds like they're going to be changing these out sometime in the future.
Right. Once Disney Springs is the full name change has happened, it sounds like they're going to repaint this whole thing. So all these vintage scenes will no longer be there. So time to document. That's what we thought.
Well, I don't, it's almost like, and we didn't ask, but it's like there's artwork boards almost in there. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with it, like panels. But there is that iconic McDonald's, that the clock tower,
Polo
which I
Camparo,
loved
too. That lasted through that.
Oh yeah, I mean it was there a long time, but again, once that left, I'm like, oh my gosh, look at this artwork here. And some of the scenes are still here. Most of them are not anymore. And some of the places, like Captain Jack's, left a couple of years ago.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So it's just interesting to be able to see it. And I kind of wish that they would keep the vintage just to have some history, but I understand, moving forward as well.
So here we are. We're on the carousel. It was quite a fun ride.
But it is very gentle. I mean, for little kids who might be a little intimidated by the one at the Magic Kingdom, it's not as fast, not as tall. So
And they have the stationary carts also.
yes. So we really enjoyed it.
And it was only $2 a person, and it's free if it's under the kid is under 42 inches.
Well, it's free for the adult, not free for the kid.
Yeah,
so the
still
kids
has
still
to
pay.
Well, the poor kid has to scrape together his pennies.
But under 42 inches tall, they allow for a free adult. So I thought that was very nice.
So our next stop was Splitsville Luxury Lanes. Time to check in with them. Haven't been there in a little while.
So we had an interview here. We're not going to show the interview. It was more just talking. But it was nice to check in and see what's up. They've switched their menu around a little bit recently, including new gluten-free options. The gluten-free is actually integrated into the menu, which is nice.
Yeah, it's nice not to have to ask the chef to come out and make special foods and everything. I mean, it's all right there ready to go, so nice and easy.
And they actually have it's an extensive menu. We ended up having, what did you have?
I had the buffalo chicken sandwich. I think it's right there. It's very good.
And I had the burger. So both of them were very good. We didn't go too crazy on what we ate.
That's right. Right. And they have great sushi, though. I mean, we've had a lot of the food there in the past, and I remember there's the sushi right there. So they're known for that.
Right, and that's one of their kind of their famous items.
This was really cool, though. I had not seen this before. It's a collectible bowling pin-shaped mug. And you know me and my mugs. I love to collect different unique mugs.
We don't have any room in the cabinet for anything.
I do not need one. I don't need one, but it's very cool. And I think you can use it for freestyle, right? The freestyle?
Yes, $10.95 all day long once you buy it. And I think that's a great deal, especially if you're here bowling for several hours.
Right. So tell us a little bit more about Splitsville.
Well, Splitsville is in the former Virgin Megastore. So let's say it's been 5 years since you've been to Downtown Disney. Not only will the whole Downtown Disney not look like what you remember.
Well, soon to be Disney Springs.
Yes. But Splitsville certainly has changed that area. And it was so nice after, they kept trying to put things into the old Virgin Megastore.
Oh, like the Princess Diana
exhibit. Yes. So it was so nice to have Splitsville come in. I mean, they're very popular, especially when it's a rainy day like it was on this day. The lanes were actually pretty full. There's 2 floors, including the escalator, and I guess the escalator is very, very popular because, guests see it and they just think, oh, I should go upstairs. So instead of sitting downstairs, they just want to head upstairs.
Right. There are good and bad advantages to having the escalator.
And I really like the outdoor patio. We've been on this before. It's very nice. They have the bar out here. There's actually 5 bars. Plus, they have early bird bowling until 12:30 p.m., so that ends up being a little bit less expensive. And that's something to check out on their website.
Right.
And now they have live entertainment in the evenings, which they didn't have before that I can recall. And the sushi is fresh. I mean, there's so much here. It's so easy to overlook things at Downtown Disney because we're so busy. But I just want to make sure, we come in here and and mention it, for those who haven't been.
Right. And I like this, by the way. This artwork reminds me of the bags they used to have when you bought a souvenir at Walt Disney World in the 80s. So it's kind of nostalgic to me.
Well, right. I used to get those bags also. And
you know what I'm talking about.
And they sell these it says child's bowling ball, but we were told it is not just a child's. They have, at least I think the Mickey goes up to like
A full
14
adult poundage.
Right. So definitely check that out if you're into bowling. And they have these also lockers.
These are not real, though. There's no super tall shack that's going to have one of these giant high-up lockers, I'll tell you that.
But they are nice for theming. But if you haven't been to Splitsville, definitely check them out, especially for food and then for bowling.
Very true, very true. Now, the big announcement this past week. Skull Island, Reign of Kong is going to be a tremendous. Look at this. This is a revolutionary ride vehicle, which looks kind of like the ride vehicles we've seen here at Animal Kingdom. But this is going into Islands of Adventure over at Universal Orlando.
I know, and it's been a couple months since we've been over to Islands, and all of a sudden it's like, look at this.
Where did this giant thing come? This is going to be one of the biggest attractions in their history, from what I heard.
Well, Mike West from Universal Creative had said that the ride vehicles would be revolutionary. There'd be massive sets, massive ride vehicles, massive characters and creatures, and that the attraction would be larger than life. And look at this. I mean, out of nothing, like, they just tend to knock stuff down, and all of a sudden here it comes.
Now, we've seen the Kong segment on the Universal Hollywood Tram Tour, which is in 3D. I think we even have a video. We'll link to that in the show notes. That is awesome, but that's just a segment of an attraction. This is a whole, massive, as they say, built attraction around Kong. So I can't wait till next summer. I think that'll be very interesting.
Yeah, I guess just about 1 year away, just over 1 year away. And
Universal keeps building.
I know, it's great because I always love having an e-ticket, and yay.
So speaking of e-tickets, we're going to get into iDrive 360, but we're going to talk about the London Eye before we review the Orlando Eye. So last October, we were in London and we rode the London Eye.
And for those who haven't been on the London Eye or maybe the Orlando Eye, both of them are owned by Merlin Entertainment, who also has all the Legolands, the Sea Life Aquarium, the Madame Tussauds. And this year, the London Eye was also rebranded for Coca-Cola, which I found interesting when I went to look it up.
Yes, very interesting. You can see the capsule there is quite different than the capsule they have here in Orlando, and you'll see that fully later. This is more egg-shaped, and there's lots of viewing of the city. You can even look up and down, through the top and the bottom.
It actually, for some reason, this one makes me much more nervous. Like the Orlando Eye, I haven't had any
Because it's square, perhaps?
I don't know. Maybe because this really is, you can see out in so many different directions.
Right.
Maybe that's part of it.
It's almost a 360-degree viewing.
It's there are 32 capsules, and the Orlando one has the 30 capsules, but these hold up to 25 guests as opposed to 15.
Right.
So it's much bigger, almost double the size as far as how many guests. As far as capacity.
Look at the views. What a beautiful view. I see Parliament there and those double-decker buses. There's a great view of the capsule, and we're going to sort of look down. We're going to do that on the London Eye video, too. I know this gets you a little woozy, although I don't think Nick Wallenda would have had a successful time walking on
that
this
would have
eye.
Been that would have
been a real challenge, I think.
And this is bigger than the Orlando Eye, also taller, 443, I was going to say square feet. It's not square feet. 443 feet versus 400 feet for the Orlando Eye. And I remember the first time I rode this was about 10 years ago, and I held on for dear life till I got right over the top. I wanted to get right over the top before I stood up, and that's what I did.
And you're not at all afraid of the Orlando Eye. You are calm as could be, but I remember when we were going on this, you were a little nervous.
Right. And I wasn't as nervous as the first time I went on, but for some reason, this one, it just seems so huge compared to the one here, and I don't know why that is.
Oh, I see the shard over there. I learned that
from
you.
And that was the first time I've ever seen the shard, was this trip to London. I've been to London like 5 times, but I think it was just built in 2013.
Now look at how small this little swing ride looks when you're looking down from the London Eye. This thing looks scary. I don't know if I'd be wanting to go on that one.
No, I don't think I'd be wanting to be on that one either. There's just so much to see from here. I know that a lot of people say you don't see much on Orlando, but I disagree
Well,
with
we will
that
prove
too.
that wrong. It's just very different. Here, you're right on the River Thames. You're on the water. You can see down there is there's the Sea Life Aquarium. I think Madame Tussauds in the area, and they have that dungeon also. I forget what that's called.
I think it's called like the dungeon.
Is it called?
I think it's something like that, and I would kind of like to see all of them.
Yeah, I would like to see. I'm just reaching here for my trusty
He's
brochure.
got the
here.
London Eye brochure.
The London Dungeon.
Yes, and we have not seen that. And I would really like to see Sea Life here also, because usually when you go overseas to aquariums, they have different fish, different sea life than you actually will see here.
And there's our friends way down there. There's Kelly and her mother. How do you like that? So, and here we are. We're coming in for a landing. And just like here in Orlando, you have to be able to sort of walk off the eye as it's moving. They can stop it if, you can't. But most people kind of walk off. You have a little trouble with that sometimes.
Well, I get nervous, the whole walking off and walking on. You just want to make sure everybody can get off and on properly. Here you have
Well,
water.
they have a little catch area in case you do fall,
Just
so you
in
don't go
case.
into the drink.
Hopefully.
That's a good idea. We don't have that problem in Orlando, do we?
No, but I'm looking forward to riding this again, hopefully, in the next year or so.
We need to go to all the eyes. Travel
That
around.
was it.
There's
There's
a
two
Vegas.
eyes.
There's a Vegas eye.
Yeah, but it's not owned by Merlin, but it is
Oh, it's
huge.
not?
I think it's like 500 and something feet.
So anyway, now we
I'm not
are
interested.
here. We are in Orlando, our hometown, and we're going to check out this Orlando Eye. You'll notice right away the capsules are quite different than what we just had in London. You can see they're a bit smaller.
Much smaller. I mean, it really feels tiny compared to the ones in London. And they say 15 guests, but I think 15 would be pushing it a little. I think we've had at most like 11, and it's harder to walk around. So to me, I think it's always better to get there early. Let's say 10 a.m. on a Monday morning, and nobody's there, and you can get a capsule with less guests.
Well, we can actually tell you from real experience. We had done all the media things. We had our own capsule for that.
Oh, I like that.
But we went back yesterday. We brought my parents again, who are visiting from out of town, and we got tickets like everybody else and waited in line, and we only ended up with 6 people in our capsule, our group of 4 plus 2 others. So it doesn't have to be crowded, although if you go on a weekend, I think it will be a little bit crowded.
Right, and with the 6 guests, you're still kind of, sometimes having to say, excuse me, I'd like to go over here.
Right.
So it just depends on the movement in the capsule.
So over there in the horizon, that's the city of Orlando. That's the first thing you're going to see when you start going up. And then when we pan over, you're going to look at iDrive, and there is Universal Studios, Islands of Adventure. I think we're going to see the Rip Ride Rocket. And if you pay
Cabana
attention,
Bay.
There's Cabana Bay right there to the left. But if you pay attention, once we zoom in, you can actually see one of the Rip Ride Rocket coasters go over the loop. I thought that was pretty cool. The camera has a pretty good zoom to it, I guess. There it goes.
It was hazy every day. Somehow we ended up with hazy days every day. Even yesterday was a beautiful day, but still a little hazy.
That is I think that's the Incredible Hulk there, and there's Doctor Doom, and in the distance you can see the Harry Potter castle there.
The Hogwarts.
That's right, that's Hogwarts. So yeah, that's your first view. It really is. It's different. It's not a city, so you have to be, when you're comparing it to the London Eye, it's more of a not cityscape.
Well, it's not like being in Washington, D.C. or something where you're seeing all kinds of, historic buildings. We don't have, this is Orlando. We don't have a lot of historic buildings here. But it still is I'm going to say this is a very smooth ride. It's really interesting. You can see some of Disney in the background. Characters in Flight was up a number of days, although not the last few times we rode.
And that was our equivalent of looking down this particular eye. There's Nick Walenda's walking spot there. Are you ready to do that?
No.
No?
I'm not going out there. Can you imagine? Even just to get out there would freak me out.
Yeah, he climbed down that ladder and had to walk, and it was rainy that morning. I would not be doing a Nick Walenda.
No.
Definitely not.
And also, just the structure itself is not imposing. To me, the one in London just seems big. And, this one does not. It just seems like a kind of, like an observation Ferris wheel, but not so imposing.
My parents were nervous about it, but once they got on, fearless. And just like you've done it, what, six times at
Something
least
like
now?
that.
Day and night. Now, we've done day and night, and I would definitely recommend daytime. You can see a lot better. Nighttime, you have all the twinkling lights. Unless you time it for the fireworks, I think day is the time to go.
Right. I think, if you can get fireworks, that would be the only time I'd probably ride at night. Except, we might get an annual pass, so then it won't even matter because we're not paying extra. We just go on. But otherwise, sunset would probably be very nice. And then I prefer daytime.
I should also mention there is a free parking in the parking garage next door, which is awful nice. Here's our first look at Disney. You can see the Contemporary. You could see even the Grand Floridian. There is Space Mountain to the right.
And
I see the
castle.
castle, Cinderella Castle.
And this
is
is
a very
with
good view.
This is with a zoom, but at the same time, it's something we could see with our eyes as well.
Right.
So it isn't like you have to zoom to see them. They're off in the distance.
Now, we just saw the Tower of Terror when we were zooming in. I see Spaceship
Oh my gosh,
Earth.
look at that zoom.
That's a good zoom. And I think the Swan and Dolphin are in view. I don't know what kind of construction.
I don't know what's going on. It was in Epcot or something somewhere. Like, we saw the crane like behind, it was almost behind Imagination or something.
Yeah.
But anyway, you see Spaceship Earth
There's
there.
the Tower of Terror again.
Yes.
I can even see the Earful Tower.
Yes, I see that. But also Characters in Flight you didn't get, but that was up. For some reason, Characters in Flight, I don't know if we've been breezy a lot lately, but I haven't seen it up so much lately. But we did see that
Characters
on the
in
first
Flight
day.
is the balloon that they have
At
downtown
downtown
Disney.
Disney.
So that will occasionally be in your view. And here is this is a hotel that looks like a castle there, and then just another view of that side. So we are coming in for our landing. What do you think? How do you compare the various the different eyes?
To me, this is a much smoother ride, a much easier ride, but at the same time, I really like them both. And when we go back to London, I certainly will want to ride the London Eye again. But this one, like if we get an annual pass, I would like to ride every so often.
Yeah, I'm still not bored with it after 6 rides. I can't wait to do it again. So it was fun. All right, now we're going to switch over to Sea Life Aquarium. Sea Life ended up being much more exciting than we thought it was going to be.
Well, this is Magnus the shark. For some reason, I thought his name was Sharky the first time.
I did too.
And I don't know why. I looked it up online and somebody said his name was Sharky. But this, the first time we went through, it was like, oh, well, that was okay. But it was during a preview, and they added so much in the meantime that it was like, oh,
it was
now
almost
I
like we
love
had
it.
to do the whole thing again. We will link to the video that we put up, but there was so much more the second time.
The octopus was fantastic.
awesome. And the ocean invaders, which are the jellyfish, how cool. This was not there at all when we were in there for the preview last week. So I'm so glad we went back. These jellyfish are awesome, and the colors change. They have little buttons on the side of the side of the display, and you can change the colors, which is pretty cool.
Every time we come through Sea Life, there's something new. Like even at the touch tank at the end, there were some new creatures in there since our first visit.
Do you know the jellyfish has no brain?
Well, it has no blood, no brain. It's like 95% water, no nerves, and no heart. It has like nothing. I don't know how it even manages to survive.
It's a living creature.
It does, and it eats like I think it's the plankton and sea monkeys.
Sandy plankton?
What's that?
That's as a joke. It's obviously not funny.
No,
that
I don't
was
know
from
what that means.
Nemo, Finding Nemo.
Oh, I don't
the musical.
remember. I guess we need to see it again.
That's terrible. Well, but this is not terrible. It is the octopi.
And look at the suction cups. I was so amazed by this. I have never seen an octopus in real life moving like this. I've seen octopuses, or do you call it octopus, every so often, but usually they're just kind of hiding in the corner, and he was just moving so much, and I think they might have been feeding him. I saw a hand in the tank earlier.
When we were there yesterday, we couldn't even, they told me he was hiding in the cage somewhere, so, not the cage, the aquarium, but he was really on the move. I have never seen anything like it. This was awesome to me. I just find it fascinating, and he changes color. Wherever he goes, he adapts to that color, and you see in this video, he's going to do it right in front of our eyes. Look at this. He's changing color. That's not a video effect. That's really him changing color to match these rocks. I just thought that was fascinating.
When I saw it, I thought it had something to do with the coloring in the tank.
Right, like sort of like the jellyfish.
He looks like, who is it from Pirates of the Caribbean? It's not Barbossa.
I forget. It's the villain from Pirates.
But right now, that's what he reminds me of.
Yes.
And it was just, there's something, I know they're so smart, and there was just something so elegant about him. I could look at him all day long if he was moving. I really enjoyed, and we put this video up.
So I just looked up, it was Davy Jones. Not the monkey Davy Jones.
See, to me, Davy Jones is only the monkey.
Yes.
Like, I don't even think of him as, like, something in Pirates of the Caribbean.
But this guy kind of has that Davy Jones from the Pirates look with his tentacles and everything, if he's in the correct position.
Well, I love him.
I love him too. I think he's, look at him changing color right there. He's turning red now. Again, not cheap lighting effects. That's a true thing. So anyway, he was very cool. Let's move on. See what else we see. I think we're going to see some sharks next.
I took some fun photos, kind of like if you have somebody standing in the tube, because this is in a 360-degree tube. It's kind of fun, or at least over there is a tube, right? That
right.
You can see.
The tube is across somebody just walked through the tube.
So you can get some fun photos of the sharks going over the head.
Yeah. Well, this is your best friend here. Your favorite creature of all, the sea turtle.
Well, this sea turtle was a rescue. I guess Sea Life rescues hundreds of sea turtles every year, and pretty soon you'll probably see that he has weights on kind of his back because he can't. The 2 feet in the back.
Yeah, his back flippers don't flip so good, I don't think.
Maybe not at all. So I guess he needs the weight sort of to make sure that he can stay in the water. But he I think I watch him for like a half hour.
He is unafraid of those sharks there. Look at that guest just turn around and leave. Not impressed.
He really, got going. Once it was hard for him sometimes, I think, to get up. I think he was just rehabilitated. But once he got up and moving, he just was everywhere.
Right. And here is the shark. As you said, this was in the tube, so you're seeing the shark swim directly over your head. And yes, you did get some fun photos when we were there yesterday with my parents. So that was good.
And there's a total of 30 displays within Sea Life. Oh, and this one is a Goliath grouper who we didn't see yesterday, but we've seen him every other day, and he's tended to stay pretty much in the same place except for like one of those days.
He is a big boy, that's for sure.
And he's like a baby. They said he's like a baby.
He's going to grow much larger. That's very interesting.
I can't even imagine any bigger. He's like one of the biggest creatures in there.
So what else can you tell us about Sea Life?
Well, they have about 5,000 creatures from 3 different oceans. And that's something I mentioned about, like in London, they probably have from different oceans than from here. And again, they rescue hundreds of the sea turtles every year. They're very big into conservation. And they have 12 theme zones. And again, that 360-degree water tunnel is not big, but it's really a lot of fun to stand in.
Seahorses.
I like seahorses. Ever since I was a little kid, I always enjoyed the seahorses.
I do too. So many things that we haven't really seen in so long. I mean, I haven't seen a live seahorse since I was a kid, so that was pretty cool. Now we're going to get to the end of Sea Life Aquarium when you can actually touch the creatures.
And this is something they have been. Oh, this is right before that where you have the stingrays.
Forgot about the stingray.
And it's not only the stingrays. I think that's like. Is that a hermit crab or something like that?
I don't know.
Or maybe the hermit crabs are like tiny. They have a number of different creatures in here.
It almost looks like the stingray is smiling with the way his face is. When he comes up, he's got a big smile.
Yes, they had a huge slug also or something in there too, massive. So here they have sea stars. This is actually a touch tank. And one thing that I found interesting yesterday is one of the sides was kind of closed off because they needed a breather from being touched.
Right. Well, that's very good that they rest them. They're not constantly being poked and everything like that. So they do take very good care of them.
Mm-hmm. And you have to be very gentle, and you can touch them. There was a sea spider, different ones than you'll see here. Maybe double the different types of creatures in there. Yesterday. So they keep adding. Every time we go back, I expect there to be something different in this aquarium. And but it was interesting to kind of see what certain, like the sea stars and such, felt like.
I really enjoyed the Sea Life. I think it rounded out a day over at iDrive 360. All their attractions are so different. Oh, that spiky, whatever that creature is very sharp. I remember that.
The least expensive that you can get is for the 3 online, about $35. Although I think the AAA South still has the $26 special. Even if you just arrive and you want all 3, it's about $50. I think it's a fantastic deal for all 3.
Right. We'll probably end up with annual passes.
I think so. Yeah.
So guess what?
That's another show.
That's another show. Next week, we're going to have lots of stuff. We have Star Wars weekends. We have Legoland, the new Legoland Hotel. Big doings.
Big doings. And thanks to Pixie Vacations. Definitely check them out. Let them do the legwork for you. They will make your Walt Disney World vacation much easier.
That's right. Also, Maple Leaf Tickets, our official ticket agency. Check them out.
And Theme Park Connection, they are our original sponsor.
So thanks again for listening, everybody. Have a great week, and we'll see you all next time.
Have a great week.
Have a great week.